Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. The full history of the Thargoids within Elite is somewhat of a paradoxical situation. On the one hand, they are a central tenet of the galaxy. After all, their presence is felt on many different levels, from their attention generation within the gaming media, not to mention mainstream media, to the complex puzzles and station attacks. Yet, at the same time, the Thargoids are almost entirely irrelevant. If you don't go seeking them out, if you don't pay attention to the backstory, it's almost too easy to completely miss them. So in a way, it could be said that Thargoids are, at the same time, central to Elite Dangerous, but also completely unnecessary. But that particular glaring issue aside, the Thargoids do generate a lot of interest, and that's only reasonable because they are an interesting aspect of the game, unless of course you fit into the camp of people who ignore them, and therefore find them irrelevant to their gameplay. But simply put, the Thargoids are interesting because they are a mystery. Now very little is known about them. Heck, we don't even know what they look like. Well, aside from some very early leaked concept renders, which Frontier have confirmed are now outdated and no longer valid. However, whilst the Thargoids are certainly a mystery, and that mystery is certainly interesting, there's also a deep problem here. Firstly, much of the mystery is still not actually in the game, well, unless you consider it to be within the codex to be in the game. Secondly, the mystery appears to have all but come to a standstill. Who are the Thargoids? Where do they come from? What do they want? Why haven't they communicated? You would have thought that these are serious and pertinent questions, yet no one seems to be asking them, at least not within the Elite Dangerous galaxy, and certainly not within any serious way. So what gives? To be fair though, before I go any further with those particular questions, let's take a look at some of the things we do know. The Thargoids then are often described as being insectoid-like. What this actually means really isn't known. There literally appears to be no details beyond this. For example, as far as I could find, there is no information on how many limbs the Thargoids have, or their number of eyes. We don't even know how they move or how they interact with their environment. And this is really odd because within the in-game lore, the organisation known as INRA have done extensive studies and even experiments on Thargoid subjects. Added to this, the documents that come with these INRA experiments have been declassified, so basically humanity, indeed most of humanity, should know all the relevant details. So despite all this though, nearly all of the fundamental details such as the Thargoid shape, such as their appearance, seem to be not even acknowledged, let alone addressed. But let's bullet point some of the things we do know about their appearance. The Thargoids are larger than humans. They are insectoid in appearance. Their biology is carbon-based. Their chemistry is ammonia-based. And that really seems to be about it. It's all extremely sparse. Now of course, there will no doubt be a real-world game design reason for this. After all, Elite doesn't have any characters walking around within the game. We literally don't have the ability to see the Thargoids, so clearly Frontier do not want to lock themselves into a Thargoid design. Much better to await some undisclosed and perhaps unknown future date where walking around becomes a reality. After all, why unnecessarily create inconsistencies within the in-game lore? Yet there's a serious flaw with this stance. Simply put, the mystery of the Thargoids completely breaks down and fails to be mysterious when the game cannot even address the most basic questions of what the aliens look like, especially when the game also confirms that this is known. But that aside, let's take a look at a few other things that we know about Thargoids. Thargoid societies are grouped into hives, in which live three types of Thargoids: queens, princesses, and drones. The queens reproduce, whilst the drones maintain the environments. INRA experiments seem to suggest that little to no value is placed upon drones within the Thargoid society. The queens themselves are capable of reproducing sexually or asexually. If they reproduce sexually, it's with another queen, in which case they produce a princess. Otherwise, asexual reproduction produces a drone. Now, Thargoids are believed to communicate via a spread-spectrum electronic signal. Whilst they are capable of making sounds with their mouthpieces, it doesn't appear to be a direct form of communication. Instead, they rely on what the Codex classes as extrasensory communications. We also know from experience within the game itself that Thargoid ships do make sounds. The ships are believed to be partially organic, although it's unknown if the ships are sentient in any way. Finally, in the distant past, Thargoids were at war with another alien race known as the Guardians. It's worth pointing out that the Guardians unsuccessfully attempted to communicate with the Thargoids. And now we come to the conflicts themselves, both the human Thargoid conflict as well as the Guardian Thargoid conflict. So this comes down to the barnacles. The barnacles are spread throughout known space. They actually grow and develop materials which the Thargoids then harvest. These are known as meta-alloys. When the Thargoids collect these, they then go away and use them in ship construction, it's believed. The barnacles have been located in space for many thousands of years, long before humans established a presence there. It's felt then that the Thargoids are simply fighting over what they believe is their own territory. After all, they feel that humans encroached on Thargoid space. We went and settled in areas where the barnacles were growing. The exact same situation that the Guardians found themselves in with the Thargoids. So, in many respects, the so-called mystery of the Thargoids is very simple. The Thargoids are fighting over territory that they have held for thousands of years. They are either unwilling or unable to communicate with humans and the Guardians before them, and finally, the Thargoids are growing things to harvest material in order to build. All in all then, it seems pretty straightforward and unmysterious. Is that even a word? In fact, it kind of feels basic and cookie cutter. Digging deeper, it feels as though there really should be something more. Where do the Thargoids come from? Where is their home? How do they view the galaxy and humanity? These questions are kind of the meat of what brings the story to life, and for a while it felt as though they were heading towards offering more information and answers on these. For now though, it seems as though nothing is going to change. The Thargoids, almost by design, appear to be an autonomous, mindless machine. Sure, it's a game. What more can we expect from NPCs after all? But bottom line, it's not their in-game actions that are the issue here. Really, they are NPCs, we can't expect much more, but what I'm driving at is that it now feels way past time that we learn something more about the Thargoids. The mystery has kind of been diluted by leaving too many gaps in the fundamentals of the lore. Personally, I'm hoping this changes sooner rather than later. After all, there's still those INRA reports about Thargoid motherships to consider. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.